Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again, it is Sunday and time for the Texas Gun Vault poll question of the week. And this poll question, which is number 19, is absolutely timed perfect. It looks like the conference committee between the Texas House and the Texas Senate has agreed upon the language of constitutional carry here in the state of Texas, and it looks like it's going to pass. So this week's gun question asked you, as my viewers and subscribers, what do you guys think about constitutional carry? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it neutral? Do you think blood's going to run in the streets? Is it our natural right and nothing shall infringe upon it? Well, let's start off by first reading the question and then getting to your results. With Texas on the verge of passing constitutional carry, or legal carry without a permit, and joining 20 other states with similar laws, what are your thoughts and opinions on it? Is it a good idea, bad idea, or something else? Will untrained people start carrying and causing a public threat? Should this right be regulated? Is it I know I should have said none, but after it's published, I can't go back and edit it, of the government's business? So, with that in mind, let's get right to your results. And to be honest with you, these results did not surprise me whatsoever. So let's take a look at them. With over 1,000 people voting in this poll, we have great idea. It is our natural right, period, full stop, 75%. Good idea. If the people of a state want it, it should be law, 10%. Neutral, I do not care either way, I will still get a permit, 6%. Bad idea, untrained people will carry and accidents will happen, 8%. And a horrible idea, blood will run in the streets, everyone will die, 1%. So the only thing about this poll that really surprised me was the fact that the top three choices, which I think in general are pretty positive, weren't more even. I know there's a lot of people out there that like the idea of constitutional carry. I did think the first option was going to win, but I actually thought there were more people that were going to say it's a good idea or a neutral idea, but they generally support it with some type of regulation, or they would have the mindset of, while I think constitutional carry should be legal, I'm not personally going to do it myself. I'll still get the permit. I kind of knew one of those three was going to win, and I was assuming the great idea was going to win, of course, the most votes, but it really surprised me that it was such an overwhelming victory for great idea. So let's break this down, and I'll give you my personal opinions. Great idea. It is our natural right, period, full stop. Now, this is the one, of course, I would have voted for. Now, by the way, I never vote in these polls, and I never respond to the comments because I never want to sway the opinions of others or the results of the poll and the most popular comments of the week. Now, as I said, this is the one that I personally would have voted for. I believe the Second Amendment is the only gun law in the country, or it should be. It is your right. As long as you are not infringing upon the rights of others, I do believe that private businesses, private property owners have a right to bar people from carrying. They have a right to put up signs. I do believe that. But I also believe that if those signs do not exist or they don't put them up, it is your right to carry in public spaces. It is your constitutional and God-given right. Now, if you do anything that could harm others, you brandish the weapon is improperly holstered, improperly displayed, of course, that is breaking the law. It is endangering people and, of course, raising the suspicions and the concerns of others. Now, just because something is your right doesn't necessarily mean it is something that you should do. One of my favorite lines from Jurassic Park was from Jeff Goldblum's character. He says, "You were so concerned about asking the question if you could, you didn't stop to ask if you should." Now, this is actually kind of where I lay. Just because we have constitutional carry and open carry doesn't mean I should just go get an AR-15 or an AK-47 and just go down the street and walk into restaurants with my family and raise the concerns of other people. It's not a smart idea. But just because you can doesn't mean you should. I believe that all choices and decisions, especially when it comes to the Second Amendment, should be well thought out, well timed, and well placed. You want to be strategic about your Second Amendment advocacy. But I'm in full support. It is our natural right, full stop, period. Next up, we have good idea. If the people of a state want it, it should be the law. I thought this one was actually going to get way more than 10%. I know there's, as I said, a lot of people out there that really support constitutional carry, but they also say, I support the rights of the states. If New Yorkers want to vote for a legislature that's going to disarm them, well, that is up to them. You have to let people learn their own lessons the hard way. I know this sounds a little bit harsh, but when it comes to some countries around the world, for example, like Venezuela, I have little empathy for the people of Venezuela. They voted in the socialist system, and they continue to vote in the socialist system. They voted in people that would disarm them, and now look where they're at. And then when an election comes up, they still vote for it more because they still buy the idea that whoever is in power, they're going to get those evil rich corporations, they're going to give us the money. And then they just get poorer, and then they have to go eat their dogs and cats and break into the zoo and eat the lions because everybody's starving. They voted for it. I don't have any sympathy or any empathy for any of that. You continue to vote for it. If people of California and New York want to vote themselves into a political dystopia, that is their right to do so. It's none of my business, but don't come to me to bail you out. But conversely, I think if you live in a liberty-loving state and the people of that state vote for representatives and they want to pass constitutional carry, then by all means, they should do so. Next up, neutral. I do not care either way. I will still get a permit. I actually think that most of the people in my circle of friends might fall into this category. I think that they don't look at constitutional carry as this great win because most of them already have carry permits anyway, and there's so many advantages to getting the carry permit, such as other states recognize a Texas license to carry, plus you can avoid having to do the NICS check here in Texas. So getting that permit actually allows you some advantages. As I said, carrying in other states, being able to get out of a gun shop a little bit quicker when you buy a firearm, it's very, very convenient. So I think a lot of people will look at constitutional carry and go, it's probably safer anyway, especially if you get stopped by a law enforcement officer and say, hey, I have an LTC, I have a firearm on me, or it's in the glove compartment or whatever. I think it puts a lot of law enforcement officers at a lower stress level. They realize, okay, so this is probably a law-abiding citizen. They're not hiding anything from me. And I think the stop or the encounter with law enforcement would definitely go better. And then next up, we have bad idea. Untrained people will carry and accidents will happen. Now, I'm surprised that so many viewers of my channel actually voted this way. This is one of those things, including the next response, which I guess I'll kind of bundle them together. Horrible idea, blood will run in the streets, everyone will die. As I mentioned in the question, 20 other states have already passed this. One of the great things about federalism and living in a nation that is dispersed and has 50 different political entities as states, we can see what other states pass, what works, what doesn't work. So collectively, we can look and go, okay, so these ideas are bad, these ideas are good, even though we think emotionally that this is going to happen if we do this, when they actually pass the law, it didn't happen. We can use science and statistics, reason and logic. I find that nothing good happens in politics when you use your heart. You have to use your brain. And in this case, with 20 other states having followed suit, well, I guess leading the way, not following suit, but leading the way with constitutional carry, we can look at them and go, okay, where are all the accidental shootings and the problems in public with people carrying guns? Well, you don't find any. Blood's going to run in the streets. Well, if blood was going to run in the streets, we'd have 20 other states where blood would be running in the streets. And we simply don't see that. One of the things that really concerns me in politics, and why I've never really been a big fan of everybody should vote even if you have no idea about what's going on in politics, because the heart can lead you in the wrong direction. I know sometimes people accuse me of being a cold-hearted SOB. They say I have no emotions, and I think with logic and reason exclusively. I actually have emotions. Well, from time to time. But when it comes to politics, I always use my brain. I look at the situation, look at statistics, because emotions can lead you in the wrong direction. And that's what I think when it comes to laws pertaining to carrying weapons, regulating carrying weapons, prohibiting carrying weapons. It's an emotional response. Criminals are not going to follow that law. I have always said that constitutional carry is what criminals do all the time, even if you're in DC, New York, Chicago, where we have these very strict gun control laws, criminals are still carrying anyway. So whether or not you have a law on the books that allows law-abiding citizens to carry, it doesn't matter. Criminals are going to do it anyway. The only thing that this happens is prevents innocent people who are law-abiding from getting in trouble and allowing them to defend themselves wherever they are. So, using logic and reason, I don't understand how anybody can be against it. Only because we have history to look at. We have precedent to look at. We have 20 other states to look at. Look at the statistics and see if the doom and gloom and the paranoia pans out. And what do we see? None of it happening. All right, so that's my thoughts on constitutional carry. So let's dive right in to the top-rated comments of the week. With our top-rated comment of the week, we have Litzine Zoots, who says, I live in a constitutional carry state. No rivers of flowing blood here. And just like I said, we have evidence from other locations where this is already law, and we don't see any rise in crime. We don't see any negligent discharges. We don't see any issues with it whatsoever. We have facts to back up our claims. Next up, we have Jimmy Harden, who says, the reason I will still get a permit is if I visited another state that accepts my permit, I can still carry. And I brought that up in my own opinions too. I think getting your state permit is a great idea, especially if one day we are able to pass national reciprocity. Then we have Machi74005, who says, I'm in Kentucky, which has had constitutional carry for nearly 2 years. It is great. Once again, someone living in a location where this is already law, well, they're still alive to tell the story, so it must mean constitutional carry isn't that bad of an idea. Then we have Sick Call Ranger, who says, I picked great idea. It's our natural right because it is. But I still want a Texas permit because I always get put on a hold and I have to wait to pick up my new boomstick. And apparently with a Texas CC, I don't have to wait since that is my background. All I have is my AZ permit still. Once again, getting the permit, especially in states where the license to carry or whatever it's called in your state, CCW or whatever, it can bypass the NICS check, which means that the state recognizes that they have already done their own background check on you, and therefore when you buy a gun at a gun store and you fill out the 4473, they use your identification, your state carry permit, so they don't have to call in for the NICS check. And then finally, we have Last Crusader, who says, I'll take a RPG, full auto AK-47, and a side of fries with my constitutional carry. Man, I wish that was the case. Who knows? Maybe one day. Well, maybe not the RPGs, but definitely small arms like full auto should be completely legal here in the United States. Why not RPGs? I don't know. I don't want people blowing their hands off not knowing how to handle ordnance, which is kind of an interesting question because I've heard that when it comes to the Second Amendment, I've heard a great definition of what should be covered and what shouldn't. And somebody said the term, there's a difference between small arms and ordnance. You know, ordnance is either like crew-served weapons or explosives versus small arms is any type of firearm that can be carried on or about the person and can be used by one person alone. I don't know. I'll have to look into that and look into the legal definitions of those two things. But yeah, anyway, so that is the Texas Gun Vault poll question of the week. This one is a great one. As I said, perfect timing because it looks like Texas is finally getting constitutional carry. It's very exciting around here. Plus, we had a really interesting silencer bill also pass out of the Senate. It may go to the governor's desk, which I should probably cover in This Week in Gun News next week. So anyway, that is the Texas Gun Vault poll question of the week, number 19. Number 20 should be on my community tab on my channel. I will put a link in the description below. Could be something fun, could be something serious, who knows, but it will definitely pertain to firearms and firearms culture. And I want you guys to go over there, vote, and then comment, and then like other people's comments so we can get the top rated comments of the week. I always say this is one of my favorite segments of the week to film, and it always turns out to be when I get out here to the garage, turn on my computer, and see what you guys have to say. I love interacting with you. So there you go. So let me know if you have any questions. And one more thing before you go, if you want, please feel free to check out my second channel. I also have a link to that in the description below. It's a casual behind-the-scenes channel, the Texas Gun Vault 2. Go check it out. I'm just trying to get to 1,000 subscribers over on that channel so I can blend the two channels when it comes to analytics and things. So if you feel like supporting me and like my content, feel free to go check that out. And if you like it, it's a little bit different than this channel. It's not as polished. It's very, very, very casual. But if you like it, please feel free to subscribe. All right, so let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.